The Jedi Master Points. You saved up a lot of them buying Star Wars toys from Hasbro. Let's talk about the debacle of what you did with them. Once a week all throughout May, we're going to do a prequel related video because it's the 25th anniversary of the Phantom Menace. That's right, can you believe it's been 25 years? We showed up at Toys R Us at midnight in mid-May to get the prequel figures. We couldn't wait. And yeah, we were going to buy a couple of Darth Mauls. Why? One, he looked cool. One, you wanted to open it. Two, you wanted to leave him in the box. And you wanted to save him because he's going to be worth a lot of money one day. It's Darth Maul, the Darth Vader of the prequels. Well, you saved up and bought a lot of Star Wars figures in 1999 for the prequels. And they loaded the stores up. And when you bought them, you noticed something on the back of the package. Jedi Force points. You buy a figure and it was like 5 points. You buy a ship, maybe it was like 20 points. Depending on how much you paid for the toy, the bigger the points were. And so you thought, hey, this is a good investment. Not only am I buying some toys I want, I get to cut out this little proof of purchase right here with the points, save up all my points, and I don't know, head over to the official Hasbro Star Wars website and cash them in. No telling what you can get, right? Well, after months of seeing these at the store, collectors started, scratching their head. Okay, I saved up points. What do I do now? I've got hundreds of points. What do I do? Well, what was Hasbro's answer? Just wait. We don't know yet. I know, it's hard to believe Hasbro would release this promotion and not even know what they're going to do with it. So 1998 came and gone, and 2000 was here. The 19s were gone. We were into the 20,000s here. We thought by this time we'd be flying cards. Nope, we were at toy stores buying more Star Wars figures with Jedi Master points on them. And this was expanding way beyond just the Phantom Menace toys. Any Star Wars toy you bought from Hasbro had these points on it. Original trilogy stuff, Phantom Menace stuff, whatever. Ships, figures, it didn't matter. If you bought something Hasbro related, on the back of the package, you could cut out that proof of purchase and get points. Again, the most expensive that one toy was, the bigger the points were. So 2000 came around, and you had so many of these because you went crazy with that Phantom Menace stuff in 1999. It was 2000. You was calming down a little bit. You was ready to cash those points in. You had hundreds, maybe even thousands of points now. I mean, dang, that Queen ship. Can you imagine how many points that thing was? So 2000 came, and you said, I'm ready to cash in. What did Hasbro say? Well, can you believe it or not? They said, we're not really sure what we're going to do with this yet. We can't really find anything to do with these points. Again, you would think a major toy company like Hasbro would have had all this worked out around 1998 before they even started the promotion. They would have had a website and everything ready to go. So this was 2000. They didn't know what they were going to do. From what I can gather from old posts online, it seems that Hasbro was worried that they were going to lose money on this, and they didn't know how. I mean, they made millions of dollars selling these toys for the points, but they didn't know what to do where they could give away some free crap and not lose any money. Well, 2000 was over. It was now 2001. We were jamming out some big hits like this 2001 hit. Remember it? 2001, we were buying Star Wars figures again, and that damn point system was still on it. And still, a lot of us was going on to the Star Wars collector message boards, the Star Wars fan message boards, the Star Wars news groups. We're going everywhere we could, saying, hey, I got these points. What do I do with it? What do I do with them, Hasbro? I've got so many. And finally, in 2001, Hasbro said, I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do with it. I don't know. What? This is a major toy company. 2001, they still didn't know what they were going to do with it. But we, as Star Wars collectors, Star Wars fans, toy lovers, we held on. Say, take your time. I'm going to be buying Star Wars figures all day and night. So I'll just start collecting all these points. And when you get ready to do something with it, I'll be rolling in the dough. I'll be the Bill Gates of Jedi Master points. And as 2001 came to an end, even more people started to jump on the internet asking, what are these points? What is Hasbro doing? What's going on? Why are they on the package if they have no plan for this? And then 2002 came. More figures hit the store. More points for you to get. That's right. Seems Hasbro was still going with this. This is started in 1999, and here we are in the year 2002. And Hasbro still pushing out those Jedi points. A lot of people saved up a lot of points between 1999 and 2002. They had thousands of points and ready to cash them in. A lot of people online just started really getting annoyed with this whole program. There was post after post after post after post. I mean, look at some of these posts. People just didn't know what to do. Do they throw them away? Do they wait to see what Hasbro does? What's going on? Why can't Hasbro get this shit together and do something with these points? And as more figures came out in 2002, more fans scratched their head but still kept cutting out these points. Because you didn't want to throw them away and then find out they're going to give away a real life land speeder or something. Well, 2003 came. Figures started hitting the stores. There it is again. Point system on the back. By this time, you don't know what to do. Do I cut them out? Do I save them? Do I care? Seems like Hasbro had given up on it. They hadn't really said anything about it since for a few years, but they were still on there. But still, they had no plan. Then, sometime around the middle of 2003, right around September, it came news that you were finally getting to do something with all those points that you saved up for years. I mean, we're talking 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003. 5 years of saving up these points. Finally, Hasbro had a plan. An auction website. JediMasterPoints.com. I'm surprised in that 5 years someone else didn't buy it and try to hold it hostage for Hasbro to buy. But here goes the deal they had. An auction site. Oh, fans were finally excited. Finally, I've saved up 5 years of points. I'm going to load up on some stuff. And they promised some exclusive stuff. One of the more exclusive figures was this one that looked like George Lucas, which was only sold at Celebration 2 in 2002. They were going to give away 10 of these with an opening bid starting at 50 points. 50 points! By this time, you had 50 points easy. I mean, you had 50 points in 1999. There was also the Playskool Millennium Falcon. They had 3 available. I don't know why this thing wasn't that rare or anything. I think it was sold at stores. And it started at 30 points. You had an interactive R2-D2. He can carry cans of soda. And he's going to start at 80 points. There was a silver R2-D2 figure. Yeah, this was an exclusive, not to the online auction. No, it was a Toys R Us exclusive. But they had 7 of them ready to go for 30 points each. And then there was a 12-inch Ultimate Jango Fett. I don't really think this thing was an exclusive or anything, but they did have one of them online starting at 40 points. Now the auction would last weekly, and each week would be new things, and they would tease coming next week. So it made you like, do I want to bid on that? Or do I want to look what's coming next week? Do I want to wait till next week? So it would change out week to week. And there was 2 different auction sites. One was for people over 18, the adult collectors. And then they had one that was under 18 that you had to get your parents' permission. They actually had to sign this waiver thing and mail it in before you could use your points on that website. Speaking of a website, Hasbro must have done some dirty deeds because they scrapped this website from the internet. I went to the Wayback Machine and tried to search it. Sure, it pulled up that there was a website at this time period, but there's no screenshot of it. I could find nothing what this site looked like. It's very odd. I couldn't even find anyone linking to this website on the news groups of the day. And believe it or not, people were kind of excited about this. Finally, those points they had saved up for like 5 years, they could use. People had a lot of them. I'm talking thousands of them. But there was one problem. Hasbro just didn't work out before launching this website. You could bid on it with how many points you had, and guess what? They didn't verify if you had them. So let's say that Lucas-looking action figure they had, you wanted it, there wasn't many of them, so you would just go online and say 5,000 points. Well, you didn't have 5,000 points. It didn't matter. You could figure out if it mattered, once you won the auction, but then you had to find out how to, maybe you go on eBay and buy some, or you just say, I lost and what, and then Hasbro was screwed and other collectors were screwed. It was just a messed up system. Now, they did have one exclusive that was for the auction site only. I don't know if I can say this guy's name right, so I'm just going to put the name down here. It's this bug-looking guy that was in the cantina. Remember him? Now you're thinking, wait a minute, Junkman. I have that figure. Yeah, he did get released about a year later in a cantina set. Well, I think the bartender came in and made one other figure. It's right here. I'll find a picture of it. But this one went up on the auction site. One of them. And can you imagine what happened? People started bidding on this thing. It went up high into the millions. And guess what? They couldn't verify if you even had the points. So what good was this? People was racking up. Maybe you had the points, maybe you didn't. You're gonna get screwed on this thing. And this is when the internet started to do some bitching again. And this time, rightly so. I know it's rare when the internet bitches about something and they have a good reason for it. But yeah, they did complain. Diddley writes, WTF. This is Hasbro's worst idea ever. Who has more than 30,000 points to bid on a Cantini alien? This is proof of what a stupid idea it is. It's more proof that Hasbro should have done a mail-away promotion instead. Dengar writes, I agree with you guys. I think this auction thing is bogus. If you don't have the internet, then you're just out of luck. Sky had a great plan. He said he's just going to auction off his points, and then called Hasbro idiots. Nick Lab couldn't believe they were just going to auction off one of that bug man from the cantina. He called it a crock and said that the bidding got ridiculous high. The bidding got so out of control, RebelScum.com reported this is how much stuff was going for. And that's a lot of nines. But it seems Hasbro was kind of catching on. They was finding out people were bidding on this stuff and they didn't have the points. They didn't have it worked out where they had proof of these points. So they went in and knocked out what I guess they assumed were phony bids. I don't know how they determined that. But they got everything, I guess you could say, more down to a reasonable. But that one figure that was exclusive, that bug guy, he was at about 25,000 points. I mean, that's a lot of points. You got to think, like the figures, they were in the single digits. The ships were like 20 points. So that's crazy. Dustro said the whole auction crap is a joke. Why can't people just buy certain items with their Jedi Master points instead of having to do an auction? Then people can just send in their points and collect the prize. There is zero control over how many points a particular buyer truly has. Hasbro, can you hire this guy? It just seems so simple, doesn't it? I think Darby might have summed it up best when he posted, "This is world-class stupid." So stupid he had to use 2 O's in it. On October 29th, 2003, Toy Master wrote on theforce.net that this was the worst idea of a promotion ever. 3 to 4 auctions a week is just not cutting it. And all they had right now was 10 Toy Fair Vaders and some lame signed photos. Whoopee. Now this went on for about 13 weeks. People complaining, people saying it wasn't fair, points going too high. And as for that one exclusive figure that really wasn't that exclusive anymore because you could get it in a box set and it looked exactly the same, take out the box that you want on the auction. I don't know what that thing sold for. I tried to find out on the internet or how many points it did go for, or maybe they just scrapped the whole thing and didn't send it to anyone. I did see a lot of people complaining that they won some items and 6 months later they were posting they still hadn't seen it yet. So this whole thing was a debacle. I know, it's a big toy company like Hasbro. It makes no sense at all. Again, I said it before, you think in 1998, before the Phantom Menace came out, they knew how huge the Phantom Menace merchandise was going to be. You think they would have had everything worked out and just made it simple. Maybe have a little catalog packed with the figures. You could open it up. This figure's this many points, so on and so on. Save your points, mail them in, send in the points, and get the toy you want. It doesn't seem that hard to figure out. But Hasbro was so worried that they might lose a couple of dollars that they just didn't know what to do. But Hasbro didn't think this out. They just threw the points on it and said we'll figure out later. And then they got worried that they might lose a couple of dollars here and there, giving people free stuff. They wanted a way that you could buy the figures, get the points, cash it in, and they wouldn't have to lose any money at all. I guess the best thing they could have done is get the CEO to get his granddaughter to draw crayon pictures of Star Wars characters that people could get if they sent in these points. This is probably the biggest promotion debacle I've ever heard of from a toy company. Let me know. Do you remember this auction site? So odd I can't even find a photo or anything about it. Let me know. Were you happy with it? Did you like, hey, this was the greatest thing ever. I had so many points. Now that's a look at the Jedi Force point program that was a debacle.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.